What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Alienware m18 AMD 7900M video for you guys today. Now, unfortunately, I still haven't gotten it sent back yet, so I've been sitting here ragging my noggin trying to think of some videos I can make with it in the meantime. I already did CPU, so I can't really think of anything else I can do with that. I would love to just get some gameplay footage, but I've tried a bunch of stuff even since the last video, and I cannot get that 7900M to work no matter what. I can kind of make it come back in Device Manager for like a second if I like disable it and re-enable it, but then you try to go play games and it still only sees the 610M. And then if you restart, it goes right back to having a little yellow triangle where it says, Windows has detected a problem. So this has been disabled, error code 43. So even Dell says that that's probably just the GPU is just borked at that point. And they said they've had the 4080s and 4090s, although very rarely it happens. They say it just happens from time to time. Although I guess it could happen all the time and they're not gonna tell me honestly. That wouldn't be good for business. Like, oh yeah, man, that shit happens all the time. These things are always breaking. They're just absolute garbage. But anyway, let us service your pile of garbage. You know, that would not turn out well for anybody. So they could have just been lying to me. But anyway, so I figured in this video, we would try to go over some of the other stuff that we can go over, like how good are the speakers, what's the keyboard sound like, is there any backlight bleed on the monitor, how good is the microphone quality, how good is the webcam quality, that kind of junk, you know? How good's the Wi-Fi speeds and all that stuff. I figured we could make a video like that. It probably won't be very long, but I want to make as many videos as I can for you guys on this before it goes back and then I just can't make any. So then that way, when I get the other one back, we can just focus 100% solely on gaming, how that 7900M performs. But anyway, sorry this intro is pretty long, but I wanted to explain what was happening, so let's go hop on into the video. Alright, so basic plan is I'm just going to set my mic down in front of the laptop here. We're going to do some crab rave because I won't get copyright struck for this thing. So we're just gonna do it at 25, or well, I can't do 25, it won't let me, but 26% volume, around 50, 75, and then 100% volume. And we'll just see how it sounds. So let's go get started. All right, now we're gonna up it to 50% volume. %76%. All right, and now I don't like doing this, but this is going back anyway, but 100% volume. Well, alright, so obviously, since it just has, I think, 2 speakers, it doesn't have a lot of bass, or very much mid-range, but it does sound really crisp. It doesn't distort from what I can hear, but it really doesn't sound any better, and if not, it's a little louder, but I think it's actually worse quality sounding speakers than my Asus G15 Advantage, to be honest with you guys. When we go and get the new one back, maybe I'll, or if I can get my Asus G15 working, I mean, we'll maybe test that out in another video, but for now, let's move on to the next test. All right, now for the back bleed test. I don't know how well this is gonna work. My camera usually wigs out when I don't have enough light. It's probably gonna make a bunch of bands and whatnot, so you're probably gonna have to just take my word for this, but for the most part, it's not horrible, but it's quite bad right here. It comes down from about right there and comes down about there. And it's extremely bright right where my finger is. Then there's a very, very minute amount right there. And then you've got a tiny little glow around the whole bottom. I think I've just gotten way too used to OLED, because OLED, that kind of stuff doesn't happen at all. But keep in mind, this is only going to happen on a completely black screen. So it's kind of a non-issue in like 99.9% of instances. But I still wanted to show you because I figured a lot of people would want to know how the backlight bleed is. So now on to the next test. Alright, so this being just an IPS panel, I figured let's try to see how the colors pop on it or don't pop or whatever. So I figured throw on a little anime. Anime is colorful, so I muted it obviously so I won't get in trouble. So let's just see what how it does here. Now obviously it might not look great through the camera or whatever, but I think the camera does a great job of capturing details of stuff. Sometimes too well, in fact. But yeah, colors actually look pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty spoiled by OLED at this point, but for an IPS panel, even though it's only 300 nits, I have two giant bright lights on. In fact, they're not at white, so let's do that real quick. So there we go. If you have some really bright white lights on at 100%, try and signify if we were like outside or something. I mean, I can still see just fine. I noticed a lot of people online were saying like the 300 nits were like, it was like the end of the world, but 300 nits is still plenty bright. And like I said, I'm spoiled by much brighter than that, because almost all OLEDs are way more bright than that. Way more bright, way brighter than that. But yeah, all the colors and everything look pretty good. I don't know, I don't have any of the technology to, you know, do color accuracy tests or anything like that, but as far as I'm concerned, even though this is only a 1200p panel or something like that, it's the 16:10 version of 1080p. So it's got some, that's why it's got the little black lines underneath on the top and the bottom. But anyway though, I think that's plenty for this test, so on to the next test. So I know I went and clicked the keys a little bit in the unboxing video and whatnot, but I figured some people would like to hear a little bit more. So I figured I would take my microphone off and just kind of set it down next to the keyboard and we'd get some clickies. Oh, and also I figured I'd point out the top row here, like all these F keys, these are not mechanical, but I mean, at the same time, why should they be? I mean, you don't use the F keys very often, but I just figured I would mention that. Besides that, though, every other key I found is clicky. Don't want to get my arm in the video. But so far, this is about the most like badass keyboard I've ever typed on a laptop. It's also hard to type two-fingered while trying to keep yourself out of the frame, but... And then we've got the numpad. Even that key is, whatchamacallit, backspace. Every other key is mechanical. So, pretty awesome. But I think that's plenty of test here for the keyboard, so why don't we move on to the next test now? Now the trackpad. The trackpad seems pretty nice. It's very smooth. It does have gestures and stuff. So like if you're trying to scroll on a website, you can like put two fingers down and scroll like that and it'll do the smooth scrolling and stuff. If you go into pictures and stuff, you can pinch to zoom and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice. Obviously, it's probably not as nice as the Apple ones and probably the Surfaces and all those, but it seems like Alienware knows most people aren't going to be playing games with a trackpad, so they just want it to be good enough to use on the desktop, and it is perfect. In fact, I'd say this one's even a little bit nicer than my Asus G15 Advantage's trackpad, but both of them are just kind of decent. They're not bad, they're not the best in the world, but they're far from the worst. I mean, a lot of people don't like when they have not separated right and left clickers too, but I haven't really had a problem with it. But if you it gets to be a point where it gets confused and it doesn't know which side you're clicking on. But it's kind of hard to do. Pretty much you have to try to mess up, really, I guess is what I'm getting at. But no, that pretty much does it for the trackpad, so now let's move on to the next test. Alright, well, ran a quick internet speed test here, and we got 474 down and 34 up, but keep in mind, I don't have a 6E modem, or not modem, but cable, or router, that's the one. I'm a complete idiot noob when it comes to networking. Mine's an old Archer 5400. I think that's just AC, so that's probably what, Wi-Fi 5, if that's even, I mean before that. But usually it can also do like 600. It completely depends on how you do it. So let's just do it live and see what it gets up to. Nah, it seems like it doesn't really want to do much more than 400 on that test, but it all depends on where you go. I'd go to that other, what do you call that, Ukilia or whatever that one is. I think it's right below it, actually, but that one always gives IP addresses, and I know I'm not a popular YouTuber, but I don't want someone getting my IP address and trying to dox me or some nonsense. But I don't think I'm very big enough for anybody to want to waste their time on it anyway, but just playing it safe, so. More than adequate, but I generally use plugged in, although I will say I really don't like how hard it is to get things out of that. So we're going to also run it again on wired. I think it just defaults to having the wired action, but I'm just going to shut the Wi-Fi completely off just so it doesn't interfere. So let's test again here. And I do have gig internet, but I think this test is way too damn short for it to ramp up. When I download a Steam game, it generally takes it like 10 seconds or so to get up to it's like 800 and 900. It never gets quite to an actual gigabit per second. And then Charter always Jews me on the megabits per second. I don't know why. Well, I know why. It's because it's not fiber. I think it's still copper. So they give you one or the other. You can have fast downloads or fast uploads, and most people would much rather have fast downloads. So it is what it is. I'm happy with it. I wish I had, just regular fiber, so I'd have just fast uploads and downloads. But hey, you can want all you want. You don't always get what you want. But anyway, on to the next test. All right, this is just a quick test of the microphone quality on the Alienware 18 M18? Yes, Alienware M18. So I don't know how good it is or how bad it is. Hopefully it's decent, but I won't know until I get to editing, so. In any case, I think that's probably about plenty. So now, I'm going to go and move on to the next test. The actual quality, because if I don't record, you're not going to be able to see much from this guy. So, let's let it record a little bit. And whenever I'm making videos, I literally flop my arms all over the place, and you guys just don't see it. So, interesting being on camera. I usually don't go on camera now I think about it. Not because I don't want to, it's just, I don't really see the need to do it, Most of the time when people watch something about a laptop, they want to see the laptop. They don't want to see me in a little window in the bottom or something like that. Same thing with games. If I was going to get gameplay, since I'm not a streamer, I'm not going to put my face in the corner or anything like that. So that's why I don't do it. But I don't think I have anything to be embarrassed about. Might not be the greatest looking guy out there, but I'm far from the worst. At least in my opinion, anyway. But anyway, though, that's about what? Well, we'll get to about a minute anyway. We got over a minute on the camera here, but I didn't start recording on the actual laptop itself until later. And hey, at least this guy has a webcam. My old laptop didn't even have a webcam. had microphones, but no webcam. Anyway, though, I think that's good, so let's move on to the next test, if I can think of any more tests to do, that is. Alright, now I figured to wrap the video on up, we would take a quick cruise through this Alienware Command Center thing. Now this is pretty much similar to my old laptop's Armory Crate, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't think I would, but I actually like this better. It seems to not take up as much like resources, it doesn't seem to be as laggy or anything like that. You got so you got your home page here, just tells you your system, and then you can just quickly go through all your different profiles here for your speeds and whatnot. Click it to get to your performance, overdrive, and your custom. I haven't set up a custom one. I mean, why bother? It's going back, you know? So on the next page here, you guys got your performance. So right now we're just on balanced. I could probably just be in quiet, and then it also gives you your CPU utilization, your memory here, how much space you're using on your C drive, frequency, temp, power, all that good stuff here. And then you can obviously switch through these like I said before. And if you want to get to the last ones, you can just click that, and that gets you to that. And at the very end here, after we're done going through this, I figure we'll go through a quick fan decibel test here. I don't have a decibel meter per se, but I can at least put my microphone down so you guys can see. Then you've got all your RGB lights here. So here's Alien FX, and I'm just on the default right now, which is just normal, just white lights. But you can mess with your Alien guy there, you can mess with your keyboard, you can mess with the back ring that goes around it. So, not bad at all. Then you got your library here, so this is where all your games that you have installed. I only have Cyberpunk, it's the only game I ever got to play. Games, apps, then what ones you use the most. I don't know if it will put your own favorites in here or if you have to add them yourself. Obviously, like I said, I haven't played enough on this thing since the damn GPU died. And then last but not least here, on the top portion anyway, you've got your Dolby Atmos. So just like my Asus G15 Advantage, you get this. And it's built-in laptop speakers ready to use. You got your settings, so you can do all sorts of different stuff. You got game, dynamic, it'll just figure it out for itself. Obviously movie, these are all pretty self-explanatory. And then you got different intelligent equalizers for each of them. You can even come down here and just do a custom one if you don't want any of that stuff, or none of it is to your liking. But anyway, I'm just gonna leave it as it was. Well, actually no, we'll just do balance. Actually no, I had it on balance and I liked balance. Let's do that. Anyway, so that's that. Then if you come down here, you got just your feedback, which just takes you to this. So relevant, but just wanted to press it just to show you what it does. Then you've got your settings, so you can check for updates here. You actually have a built-in overlay. I've actually never used it, so I don't know what it's gonna do. It's thinking about doing something. Oh, it's gonna crash the app is what it's gonna do. But hey, we show when things mess up here. Oh, I forgot, it's right here. I put it there for a reason. So all right, don't click that apparently, unless you want your Alienware Command Center to crash. But it's not like my Armory Crate hasn't ever crashed before. But anyway, so we won't mess with that. And then the last thing is just help, which just takes you to the Alienware Command Center help page, which you can just get a bunch of info on. So there's all that. So now, like I promised, we'll go and get a quick fan speed test. I'm just gonna go run something like Cinebench in the background to make it, you know, up the fans as high as they're gonna go for each test, and then we'll just see how they sound. All right, guys, basic plan here is I'm just gonna run Cinebench 2024 multi-core on the various different settings you got in the Command Center. I almost called it Armored Crate. On the Alienware Command Center, and we're gonna start with quiet. So I'm just going to set the microphone down by the laptop. We're basically on top of the laptop, and we will see how it does. And again, this is the quiet preset. Now for the balanced preset. Now the performance preset. Now last but not least, overdrive, which is just fans at 100%. Alright guys, now the last thing I could think of to test out here was, well, two things. I'm going to go and install a speed test for the M.2 drive that's in there, and then after that we're going to get a shutdown speed test and a boot speed test, and I think after that, that's about all I can really think of to test out on this thing for now, unless anybody else has any ideas. So I think we'll just end the video at that point after we're done with those two things, or three things technically. So let me go download that real quick, and then we will go and see how it does. Just got done running Crystal Disk Mark, and for read we got 7,079, and write 6,006.94. Not too bad at all. I was honestly expecting to be way slower than that. That's not too far behind my old what was it? Western Digital 850 SN. I think that got like 7,500 read and like 63 write. So that's not bad at all. I'm happy with that performance. It's definitely way faster than my old drive and my old laptop, but generally speaking, even a Gen 3 M.2 is going to be like absolutely overkill for most, well, not overkill, pretty much fine for most games. A lot of games with direct storage still don't do great even with SATA drives, but most games will run fine on a SATA SSD to this day. And I'm not saying they won't, but that's one of the places where the M.2s are starting to come up. But one thing you don't need is you do not need any Gen 5 drives. None of those are going to help you in gaming or anything. Those are just for people that are transferring gigantic files and copying them and whatnot. I grabbed one from my Big Chungus main computer, but that's just because the whole point of that thing is overkill, Big Chungus, stupidity. No one should be going out and buying a Gen 5 drive. I mean, that thing gets like 12,000 read, and it doesn't really load any faster than my old, like I said, Western Digital 850 SN. It might be like a second faster, if that. Negligible. But anyway, now let's go finish this video up. Let's go do a quick shutdown test and a quick boot up test, and then we can wrap the video on up. Now for a quick shutdown test here. Let's see how long it takes to shut off. Now obviously this is a very relatively new computer. It has almost nothing on it, so it shouldn't take it too long to shut off. Wait until the lights go completely off to consider it off. Alright, so that took like 22 seconds or something like that, give or take. It's not like we had a timer going. I'm just looking at how much time the time has been going and then minusing off a couple because I did, you know, some talking in the first place. So like 18 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. So now let's go and do a quick boot test. Now for a quick boot test, just hit the Alienware button and we are coming to life. So let's see how long it takes it to actually get into the Windows. Will technically ask me to sign in. Not too long at all. Again, about as long as it takes to shut off, around 18-20 seconds. And then it's got fast drive, M.2, any SSD, you're going to be pretty much set to go as soon as you sign in. You don't have to wait for icons to pop up. You can do anything you want. I still remember the old days with a hard drive where you had to sit there and wait for every startup program to get started before you did anything. Otherwise, just opening up your internet would be slow as a slow poke caught in molasses. But in any case, though, that's about all I can think of for tests. So why don't we go wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that is about all the tests I can think of off the top of my head that people would be interested in seeing, other than the big main purpose of the thing, which is gaming. Which, don't get me wrong guys, as I said at the beginning, I wished I could get you guys some gameplay footage, I really do. Sucks for me, even worse. I'm the one that bought the thing and I want to play some games on it. But it is what it is. Still working on getting that sorted out. I got to take some more pictures, send some more stuff, but hopefully this will be taken care of soon. I'm hoping that they weren't just being nice on the phone and now we're just going to get into, we need more pictures, we need more pictures, we need more pictures. Oh, always more pictures. Oh, it's been a month. We're not helping you. You know, I'm not thinking they're going to do that. In fact, I'm still surprised they even messaged me back on Thanksgiving. So far, again, like I said, they've been great. I'm just saying I hope it doesn't turn into one of those situations, just to be clear. But in any case, that's all I got for you guys for this video. If you guys can think of anything else you would like to see, just let me know. The only thing I can't do is I can't do any gameplay yet. So if you guys can think of anything else, again, let me know in the comments, and if I can do it, I will do it. So, until the next, I hope you guys enjoyed the video though, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.